I appreciate you coming on the show today.
I'm so happy to be here. I used to be a D student, retarded skateboarder stuck in my parents' basement who also thought it was impossible to get rich on the internet. So I vibe with anybody who's currently there, and I want you to know there is hope.
There is hope. And the hope that I think that you bring to the table is that this beautiful thing called VSLs is how you got rich. Do you mind just at least explaining to somebody who has no idea what a VSL is, what it is, what the use case is, and how you made hundreds of millions of dollars for clients and millions of dollars for yourself doing that?
Yeah, so quick rundown. So, how to get rich on the internet. The best way that I found is paid ads for sure. Paid ads. It is the best because you can scale. So, I know you're worried, oh, I don't have enough money, but one day, if you listen to me, you'll find somebody to partner with who has a credit card like what I did. And then you can be able to play the game of advertising. And when you play this game, if you want to make $1,000 in a day, if you spend $1,000 on ads, you show a video to somebody, also known as a VSL, video sales letter. All the people on their Facebook, they see a video, they watch it, they click the button, they buy the product. You do $3,000 in sales, $1,000 goes to inventory. Boom, you made $1,000 on the internet. So the cool thing about that is that if you have money to run with or a business partner and you're in an environment where you're able to scale, you can spend 5 grand a day and 10 grand a day, all the way up to 100 grand a day and beyond. So if getting rich is making $50,000 every 2 weeks easily and consistently smooth like butter, then you just need to have to make 50 grand every 2 weeks. And you can do that with ads if they're scaling good. And you can do it if you know how to make good videos. That's actually all it takes. You just have to upload a video to Facebook, spend money on it, and have it be positive ROI, and you're making money on the internet.
So easy. It's like the easiest thing in the world. But
It's simple, right? It's kindergarten simple, right? And thanks to AI, it's definitely a lot easier.
and where do you think like the wheels fall off the wagon for people when they hear that? Because I mean, I've heard run ads for 4 years, and for me, I've made all my money organically, blowing up my own personal brand and scaling other people's brands organically. But paid ads is like this weird box that you enter, and it's like I want to try to run an ad campaign, and Facebook blocks my ad account, and then I get depressed, and then I stop running ads, and then maybe I don't even make it that far. I don't even know. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, early people will hear that advice, they'll think it's so inspiring, and then for one reason or another, they'll fall apart before they ever actually make a dollar. Where do you think that usually comes into play?
Well, you said the key word you said was got depressed, right?
Probably.
So here's the brutal thing. It's like, being a gladiator. You're either killing people or you're getting killed.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it fucking sucks when you get stabbed in the face, right? It's no fun. You don't really want to do it anymore. So you're literally either making money or you're burning money, which is kind of like that. So and there's a lot of mental hurdles. Like the first mental hurdle is obviously like, oh, it's a huge deal that I'm burning money or whatever. Or like money is going down. It's crazy. Like when you put money on this big pedestal in your mind and you act like it's more than just a fucking number on a screen. But eventually you realize it's just a number on the screen. And if you just practice the video game, it's a video game. Whatever, number goes up, number goes down. Who cares? You're not like you're gonna die at the end of the day. You just play the game till the money goes up or whatever, and then you start to figure out the secrets of how to make a good video that makes the thing go up. Because you just get it's easy to get wrecked. If you get wrecked and you're by yourself, you don't go find a team to work with. You try to solo affiliate marketer it in this space, or God forbid you fucking do drop shipping or something like that. That really is just juggling way too many fucking balls at once when you just need to simplify your life and do one thing. And yeah, it's easy to get overrun, overwhelmed, and you make some mistakes. You overcommit to a fucking terrible niche. You pick a stupid product, but you decide to build a brand around it, and now you got all sorts of shit around you when you made the experience way worse than it needed to be. And then you're hanging out with broke friends who are trying to tell you you should be humble and broke your whole life, right? And trying to convince you that's a good idea. Yeah, there's tons of reasons.
Yeah. Okay. So if you were 21 again, or even 20, and you knew everything, well, you did. Let's say with all the knowledge that you have now, what steps would you take? Would you say get really good at paid ads, making good videos, uploading them to Facebook, running campaigns for a brand, like almost like growth operating them, and then being able to make money that way? or would you advise somebody to do something completely different than the route that you chose early on in the beginning?
Well, I'm just going to tell you what worked for me, right? And I'm going to tell you what didn't work for me.
Yeah,
What didn't work for me was starting 7 businesses in a row and failing all of them. That didn't work
yeah,
at all, right? I'm going to be rich at an early age, better start your own business. That's what they tell me. Well, eventually I realized that I was retarded and that none of my ideas were going to work. They were all terrible. So the first step for me was just this acceptance of being retarded and realizing that nothing I'm going to do is going to work if I try it. That's step one. So that's what works for me. Now, don't use that language very often because the more you call yourself that, the more it's whatever. But you're not a genius yet. You're
yeah,
not a genius. So when you're not a genius and every idea you're going to do is going to fail, the only thing you have left to do is to become an apprentice to a master. There's a
yeah,
great book called Mastery by Robert Greene.
yeah,
And the road to the master is you must find the master to work with and train under and become an apprentice. So
yeah,
at 25, I gave up on starting my own businesses because I had a goal of being a young supercar guy at 27
yeah,
and I only had 2 years left and I knew I couldn't risk it on doing whatever. So what worked for me is finding a environment and a master to play the game with because I couldn't even I was doing organic stuff or whatever. I was starting this, starting that, and trying things that would fail, but I wanted to become great at media buying and basically kind of copywriting, which mostly media buying back then. I wanted to be a great media buyer.
yeah,
Now it's like you want to be a great VSL director. I think that's more of what the angle is.
yeah,
But I had my whole life was about how to get in the right seat on the right bus. That's what it summed up to, right? Fuck my own bus. Who is the best person to work with, and what's the best seat I can be in on the team?
yeah. I'm at that stage in my life right now. I make maybe 100 grand a year in my own business, but I'm like where I'm capped in my own knowledge. There's really nothing else I know. Like I'm capped at what I don't know. I need to go find somebody like you or like a Grant Cardone or somebody that is brilliant at something and then learn from them. Right.
Learn from them, but join their fucking team. That's more of what it is. Join their team, get in the zone. And Grant Cardone's great. I mean, he's actually he's actually ridiculously amazing because if you were over at Grant Cardone's offices right now, I've sat in on one of their daily huddles,
Oh,
and the
we're
thing is a
insane.
damn cult over there. There's like every team gets together and talks about how much money they made yesterday at the same time, and you get to see how this massive thing operates.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot learn anything that is even remotely close to what you could learn by being the inside at a place like Grant Cardone's office, or even some undercover multimillionaires you never fucking knew who don't like doing courses and aren't out in the public.
Yeah. I mean, your angle is VSLs, being able to show a product online to a lot of people with ad dollars. Do you think that there's like a lot of nobility to just also being the millionaire that nobody knows about? You're not running ads to try to sell random people on the internet, and you're basically like faceless and anonymous. Do you think that that's also like a better play, or would you say like get as loud as you possibly can, make as much content as you can, so people actually know
Well,
who you are?
well, I mean, you're not selling yourself at the beginning when you're making VSL, so you're basically behind the scenes. What was your question? Is it better to like be front pacing in public or be a
Yeah,
secret
yeah, yeah. That's that question.
once you become a millionaire?
No, no, no. Like early on, I'm 21. I'm like, no one knows who I am. I have no money. So the last 3 years of my life, I posted one video a day or two videos a day every single day for the last 365 days. So I've been grinding content. Is it advisable from your perspective to do that as well? So
I
that
personally think it's retarded.
yeah,
I think it's retarded because like the one most what the most important like one of the most important tricks to influencing people at mass scale is authority.
yeah,
So like before we start fucking adding value, let's get us to $1 million a year, and then let's add some value, right? Let's get us to 100 grand a month, and then let's start adding value. In terms of that, before that, I think we should be working in maximizing our skill set as hard as possible, and so that's kind of it. I mean, it's cool to be an inspiring role model and being out there and speaking to people and that kind of stuff.
yeah,
But not at the expense, but the mind share that you risk of thinking about what videos should I make to boost the mindset. It is risky because it takes it away from the greatest skill set of all time that I thought you should learn. I should learn is the VSL. So I
yeah,
just chose to go full obsession. I'm not saying that's retarded, I'm saying for me, anything other than batshit crazy obsession over the one skill set that creates the life of my dreams is
Yeah.
retarded for me. That was it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because like my brain goes to if you have a really good product like a VSL or something, you're young, and then we just like think about how to get as much traffic to that as possible. You don't have ad dollars, so you can just run organic content to that product to try to sell as much of it as possible. That's where my brain makes the connection. But I have heard from people that are much more successful than me that say in the beginning, no one cares about you. Just jump in a hole and then build something, and then 10 years from now, you can talk about it publicly. But
Well, I would say the smartest thing to do would to be solve the I don't have enough ad dollars problem instead of going to do the organic thing. Because what solving that means, it just means finding a business partner who wants to fund the campaigns.
yeah.
Like, because if you can do that, then you're able to scale way faster, be way more successful, way younger.
Like, if you were to
Right.
find somebody like that has a lot more money, does it necessarily need to be the owner of the product that you're trying to push as well, or could it literally just be somebody that has a little bit of money in their bank and they believe in what you're doing?
No, you want somebody who knows, you want someone who's a mentor to you because, again, not a genius, right? We need a genius. We don't just need someone with money. We need a genius to create a genius, essentially.
Yeah.
So I'll go back to what worked for me. And let me just I'll just take these kids straight to the top, right? Essentially. I gave up. I was looking for a mentor, and I had learned, I forget where I learned this idea, but I knew I needed to find someone to knew I needed to be a media buyer. I needed to be a media buyer for a company. That's what I wanted to do. That
Yeah.
was the job. I knew I had to get a job. I had to get a job as a media buyer at a company. That's it. And I didn't want to take a salary. I wanted to take a performance only thing. So I only made money. If I made them money, I would make nothing if I didn't make anything. There was a floor of like $700 a month so I could just pay rent and eat top ramen. That was the minimum in case I fucked up. That's all I want. Just keep me alive.
Yeah.
Just keep me alive. That's all I fucking ask for. I don't care. I'll crawl to work. I don't care. So I called up. I was Googling on Las Vegas. I was living in Vegas at the time. And I found this affiliate network in Las Vegas. And affiliate networks are really interesting because they have all these affiliates that promote their products. They find people who have e-commerce products and they find people who promote them and they create a little spot, a little marketplace where I could sell anything. And it was cool because if you worked at an affiliate network, you could see what everyone's promoting, right? You could see the data of all these affiliates on what offers they're running. So it's a great place to learn. And the guy who owns the affiliate network, if he knows, hey, these guys are making a bunch of money with this offer, why don't we do an internal media buying team where I can just promote the things that are working at your affiliate network on Facebook and we'll do a profit share.
Wow.
And I called the guy on the phone and I said, "Hey, I'm this marketer. I used to work at this, that, and the other thing, but I'm actually would love to be a media buyer for you and love to pivot that. Can I come in and meet you?" And the guy was like, "Sure." I called him. I called him. He answered. I just said, "What's up?" He invited him. Next thing I know, I had a job. So this was a big deal for me because now, for the first time ever, I had a credit card I could spend money in. I had offers to run. I had nothing to do with my life. I didn't have to do drop shipping. I didn't have to build landing pages. I didn't have to fucking come up with customer support, design websites, find fucking. It's like everything was right there and I could see what was working, at least the offers that were working, and then I could start working on selling it.
Yeah.
Now, that didn't mean I wasn't a genius. I still had no idea what I was doing. You just sit in the wheel and now you're trying to fucking work. It's like learning how to drive a stick shift your first day. You're just clueless, you know? And I kept losing money over and over again. I think the first month I lost $1,000 and the next month I made $1,000 and I still really couldn't find a way to start making money while I was there. And here's where I finally started making money for the first time in my life, really on the internet. You know, I was losing money, and my boss, I was losing money on a website called redirect.com. It was like this old email network. So like you can put ads in emails essentially like that.
Okay.
And my boss knew the owner of redirect.com. So he calls redirect and he's like, "Hey bro, hey Scott." Guy named Scott Richter. He's like, "Hey Scott, my media buyer keeps losing a bunch of money on your platform. How do we make money on this thing?" And he's like, "Oh, well, there's this one guy who's spending $800 a day selling this brain supplement nootropic campaign." He's like, "Here's the guy's landing page." And he sends me the landing page. And in online marketing, it's very simple, right?
Just copy it.
You make money because you have an ad that maybe goes to a landing page and then goes to an offer. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, if he's making money promoting that, and now you're promoting that with the ad, the same landing page, same offer, then you'll probably make the same money that he's making. That's like how it works. You get the same results.
Yeah.
So I ripped it, I downloaded it, I uploaded it, and I was finally profitable.
Yeah.
I had my first campaign. So that's kind of the beginning of it.
Yeah. And you made a lot of money, I think, with that campaign, didn't you?
That was a kickoff. That was definitely the kickoff. It started to grow. I had put together a mastermind group of people who were making $1,000 a day. I started to have some multi four figure days on rev.com, rev content, on rev content and affiliate network. And then I met some legitimate masters of the game. The old place I was at, it was a kind of a okay bus. I was in the right seat on an okay bus. It wasn't
Yeah.
the best affiliate network in the world. But when I started my mastermind group and then met my mentors, that's when I got on the right seat on the greatest bus of all time.
Mind
That's
Valley.
what fucking did it for me.
You're
Right
talking,
seat, greatest bus of all time.
you're talking about Mind Valley or
Now I'm talking about this is when I joined on as an affiliate. So Mind Valley was like way down the road. This is like we're talking about 8 years ago now.
okay. And so how long from that point where you make your first real dollar in an ad campaign until like when you do 40 million in 12 months with the skincare brand? Is,
Yeah.
is that around the same time or
So once I started making money, the training began. Now I was actually in the zone. My confidence went up. When you're suck, your confidence is so low. You feel so defeated. You feel so deflated. But when you start making money, it flips. You're like, I'm the greatest. I'm amazing. And you have this better energy and you start getting better results with this better energy. Part of doing well is learning how to feel confident and amazing, even though you're getting slapped in the face. Right. So I started to feel way better. I partnered with these other guys. We had this campaign took off. I moved to the Caribbean in St. Bart. So I was 26 years old, living on an island in the Caribbean with my feet in the sand. Life was amazing, right? Bought my first Rolex. It's freaking great. And then I just got into e-commerce. We got hit by a hurricane after a year and a half that blew us to Florida, and we opened an office in Florida, a media buying house. And we were doing supplements back then, but Facebook like smacked supplements pretty hard. So I pivoted to e-commerce as an affiliate. And then every day I would just write VSLs for different affiliate offers, e-com offers, because just learn how to sell this, learn how to sell that. How do I sell this? I had this big database of winning video sales letters called the VSL Bible,
yeah, yeah,
which
super cool.
yeah, that was my thing. I just had winning campaigns, and just like I was able to copy the homework from this Asian kid sitting next to me in math class, I would just rewrite these winning campaigns for these new offers, and I would just do that all day. And I would test all these different e-com offers. It was like foot insoles and pillows and TV antennas and all sorts of supplements, pet supplements, like just everything I could think of. I would just learn how to fucking sell this stuff. And I kind of knew a little bit of basics of copy, but never really identified as a copywriter. I was just like trying to figure it out on the way. And you know, two years went by of doing this, and then I left my business partners, and then I had a year on my own. And so one day we cracked a skincare campaign as an affiliate. And I always tell people the best way to build a world class brand is to start as an affiliate marketer, find a winning campaign because your life revolves around the Facebook campaign and the YouTube campaign. Like that's what your life revolves around. Everything else is just this to the side of that. But I had a winning skincare campaign. And then one day we're like, hey, let's turn this into a real brand. And we just got a real dermatologist and real everything and shot a real infomercial. And then it just crushed. That was
Yeah,
our stuff.
yeah. So I love the infomercial. How much did you spend building that? Because like I've watched it. The camera quality is insane. It was really well polished, produced. Like I think people like see the success you've had, and then they're like, "Oh, I could do that," and then they don't realize like you actually shot a real commercial, which takes a lot of work and energy, I assume.
Um, I mean, you believe it or not, it's not that hard. I'll just give you the quick rundown, right? So you write a VSL script with AI. You can do most of this stuff already done, right? You can do most of this stuff ridiculously. You can just take a picture and have the person start speaking using the freaking new VO3 tool, just like ridiculous. So you can do some pretty amazing stuff with AI now. But what I had to do, what you have to do, is you have to write a script. You have to get a spokesperson. You have to, go to the spokesperson's office, film them. So that's like a day. I would basically hire. I'd pay like 7 actresses $100 to come in for 30 minutes and like walk around with my doctor, whatever, turn a corner, day in the life, like just I have bags under my wrinkles, I'm worried. Here's the product. Now I'm happy, like kind of basic stuff, So I just like show that. So it's just that's it. You just film that, and then you film the doctor reading the script on the teleprompter. She just sits there and she reads it for like 2 hours, and then you pay her a little bit of money. I would pay her like $1,000 an hour, so like basically 5 grand for the shoot for the day. There you go. Thank you. You give it to the editor. Maybe it costs another $5,000 to turn it into an epic VSL, and then you got a video.
So how would I mean, you're a master at this, right? Like you've done this before, like you're gonna spend 10 grand on this VSL. You have now an amazing piece of content that you'll run ads to, but like how would a beginning person like be able to
Yeah,
justify 10K on a video and they're like, I don't know if I'm gonna profit like
yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it yet, bro. Chill the
okay.
fuck out. Keep on. Just learn how to use the AI tools to make videos for free, and just make short free videos. Like don't go spend any crazy thing. You shouldn't. If you're doing a legit VSL shoot, it should only be on a winning campaign you already have that's working. Like we had our campaign doing $30,000 a day in sales before we shot this infomercial.
What
So just
how is it already making 30K in sales if you didn't have a video? Like
I had a video.
what was the
We
previous?
just made videos earlier on with it, and just like had some basic voiceover in the background and like slideshows and text, things
Okay.
like that. You didn't need anything crazy.
Okay. And so like the reason to make a better video with the spokesperson is just because the ROAS would increase, you think?
It boosts the ROI.
Cool. Got it. Okay.
That's it.
That
Make
was
it
my
better.
yeah, that was my biggest thing. Like watching your content, the disconnect was always like, I don't have this money to spend on a VSL yet. So I assume
Yeah.
the beginning step is just whatever you
No,
can do.
I would use a tool called Lumen 5, like a slideshow maker, essentially. Like I guess like 6 years ago on 7 years ago on Facebook, slideshows were really big, where
Yeah.
like you would just see a picture and a thing, and it's literally a slideshow video. And Lumen 5 would make these slideshow videos. So I would all day, I would write a script, put the script in there, find photos that fits with the script, done.
Done. Okay. Cool.
Done, right? There's probably better video makers out there today, but that was it. And I could do it on my own. And then I had a team out of the Philippines that would design the videos for me. I would just write the scripts because the scripts were the most important thing.
Okay. How, I mean, with everyone moving toward short form content, attention spans being smaller, your approach is like, I want to do something that is long form, instead
That's a
of
myth. That's a
like,
myth.
wait, what?
The whole attention spans being longer, everyone's moving to short form. First off, nobody was ever in long form. Everyone has always been in short form because like I wish I wasn't in long form. I wish that fucking short form was better, but the attention span is a bunch of bullshit. When people are fascinated, they're fucking fascinated. They're upset. All they want to think about is that. People are doom scrolling on Facebook to find something that, when you're scrolling, just looking for something interesting to watch, because you don't really want to scroll. You want to watch something and be stimulated for a while. Like
Yeah.
you give them that, they'll fucking watch a half hour, an hour.
Yeah.
If you just give them something epic. But I didn't want to do long videos. I started with just 3 minute videos, and then I hired a coach, a VSL, badass copywriter, and then he made my scripts a little better, and then my videos were like 6 minutes. And then I tested some other things, and they got to like 8 minutes. And then I started my own brand, and I saw people weren't really buying a lot. I was accidentally inspiring them to buy the least amount possible versus getting them to buy the most amount possible. So then I learned how to do VSL closes. And then I have like 8 minutes closing the VSL. So now it's 16 minutes. And fuck, it works better. Fuck, it converts better. People buy more. God damn it. It's getting better, right? It's getting longer, but it's getting better. And then you look at ClickBank, and those VSLs are an hour long.
Oh, ClickBank.
So
Yeah. My first video I ever watched of you, I think 2 or 3 years ago, you talked about ClickBank. So I went through ClickBank and I'm like, all these videos are over like 45 minutes. I don't understand. Like, how is this converting? But I've watched the campaigns and I wouldn't
it's
say they're
weird.
necessarily insanely fascinating, but some of them you definitely like, I scrubbed through to the end. I want to see like how you actually close down like like how you make the sale. And I'm sometimes I ask myself, like, how does this actually work? How do people actually buy this? But I assume that I'm not the ideal avatar for any of the Mind Valley stuff. I'm not buying any of their supplements, but um,
When
yeah,
you have the problem, you are interested. When you have toe fungus and you've been desperately humiliated by it, and you have toe fungus doctor in front of you right now, you want to think, you want to watch a little bit. So people get zoned in when it's the right demographic. And there's a massive block everyone goes through at the beginning. I remember doing it. I remember never promoting VSLs. Never want to promote this. But shit, again, worked better. It's weird that you just send them to this landing page with a video. It's almost like you're telling me that if I send people to this page and there's a video on it, they're just going to watch the video. It's an hour long and it's going to work. Like that's what I'm telling you. It's you do it. It's gonna try. It's gonna work.
yeah, it's
Like
insane. Yeah. Keep going. I didn't want to cut you off.
I mean that's basically it. It's like there's a limiting belief that we all go through. Like when I first got to Mind Valley, the hardest part was convincing the team I wanted to run 30-minute ads.
Yeah.
They just look at you like you're ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. They're running like 3-minute videos. But I don't know why they didn't agree to it because they were running 3-minute videos to 2-hour webinars. So I'm like, listen, just what's with the gap? Subscribe, then join a webinar. It's 2 hours. Just skip the gap, take the webinar, shorten it, and make it an ad, and then run it. And then
Yeah.
that works.
So, okay, let's compare two things. For anyone that is in the marketing space and they've tried a webinar versus a VSL versus a 30-second creative that runs to a landing page with maybe a product mockup or something, like those three scenarios, out of all of them, you've said extensively like VSLs are the best. I like how could a VSL, a 1 hour video that's pre-recorded that has a bunch of editing, be better than a webinar where somebody feels like they're in a Zoom room with a Grant Cardone or a Dan Locke or a Bradley and they're getting closed on the spot on some coaching offer? Like how do you break that down in your brain, especially to like Mind Valley when they used to run to 2 hour webinars versus an hour long VSL?
Well, Mind Valley was losing like 50 grand a day when I got there doing these webinars. So that shit stopped working after a while.
Damn. Okay. Um,
But to
so,
answer your question, why does it work better? First off, if the product is $2,000 or more or $2,000, webinars work better.
okay.
Webinars work better. The biggest campaigns in the world, there's still a lot of big ones that do webinars, but they all sell at least $1,500 products. Nobody less than $1,500 is doing better on a webinar. Everyone is doing VSLs. Everybody. So any price range between if the average order value is between like, $100 to $300, that's where VSLs really thrive the most.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. And the reason it works is like because people are sitting there on their phone. You want to think about the passive least resistance from them buying anything, right? What is the least amount of work this person can do in order to get them to buy? Now, if I tell them to click the link and fill out an email address and then start watching, it starts going down. The conversion rate starts going down. The click through rate starts going down. But a video, if they're scrolling and they see the VSL and they're hooked into it and they don't have to do anything, they just sit there. It sucks the most amount of people on the slip and slide. They're on the slip and slide. They're going down the slip and slide. At the bottom is the buy button, right? There's like no fucking stand up, go to the next ride, watch that slip and slide. Then no one goes on a fucking. They're just on one slip and slide to the buy button.
Okay. All right. And
So
so,
it's just the least resistance is why it works the best.
yeah, that makes sense. And for somebody like just getting started, do you recommend, okay, so step one, stop trying to do everything yourself, go find a mentor. Step two, become like, go find a bus that's like really profitable or a big company or something, and then join that and have a mentor in that company that can help you out. Like with AI being integrated into all of this, where do you see like a 21-year-old like best suited to try to make as much money as possible? Do you think they should start and become a media buyer at a company, or do you think they should learn how to build like an AI agent or something like that? I don't want to get into like the
No,
weeds.
don't do AI agents.
Okay, but do you think there's like a really good opportunity for a young
Yes.
person to spend their time?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So back in my day, right, copywriters were a full time job.
Yeah,
They were a full time job. Copywriters are not a full time job anymore. Media buying is not a full time job anymore, right? Editing Not really a full-time job. I mean, yeah, I guess if you have an editor, it's still a full-time job. You pass it off to the editor, it's really good. Um, Looking at the data is not a full-time job, right? So the most valuable thing you need to learn, first off, is again, copy. So, and the best way to do copy is just to reverse engineer winning ads.
Yeah.
You don't need to know anything. Like, first off, what percentage of people, Alex, do you think are able to copy the homework off a kid?
Copy the homework off a kid, probably a lot.
100% of people can copy the fucking homework off of a kid, right?
Yeah.
So if you're watching, 100%, if you can look at somebody's test and copy their answers, you can be rich, right? I just want you to know that. Without knowing a single thing about anything, you don't have the homework is not you knowing. You don't get rewarded for knowing, you get rewarded for having the answers correct. That's where the reward comes. So first step, get really good at spy tools and learning these things and like in get really good at organizing, like get a Notion set up and like learn how to create a swipe file, like my VSL Bible, where I just had a collection of the biggest things, all the best hair VSLs, and study them and watch them and like soak up a lot of what winning looks like. Soak up what winning looks like. And winning does not come from books. Like mindset shit comes from books, but winning ads comes from spy tools. Spy tools show you what's working today. Books show you what is dead, what worked and then died. And then they wrote a book about it because it was so good, right? But it's dead, right? Cool, but it's dead. Ads are live. No one wrote a book about it, but they are showing you, like the kid's not teaching you what your math test looks like. He's just showing you what the answers are on the test. So you have to learn how to reverse engineer these, right? If you take my course, the VSL Masterclass, which I only created because I became the best in the world, that's why I made it. And I wanted to teach people how to do this. You would learn how to do this. So that's kind of the core thing. But what you want to become with the future where we're at right now is because with this and with AI, like one of the things I do when I start doing copywriting is I train an AI on all of the, like if I'm doing an ED VSL on erectile dysfunction, I will train the AI on all the best ED VSLs and train it on my copywriting principles and train it on our product. So literally I create a master AI who's a master copywriter. So you basically have a copywriter that works for you by doing that. And you can do that for each niche. So you learn how to do shit like that. And then what you are is you are a VSL director. That's who you want to be in this next future person. So a copywriter's job is to write scripts. A VSL director's job is called GTM. Get the money. That's your job. Your job is to get the money. Your job does not end until the money is in the account. That's it. So you write the script, you shoot the thing, you edit the thing, you upload the thing to Facebook ads, you look at the data, and if it didn't make money, you redo it and do it better. If it did make money, you count the money and then split it with the guy who helped you run this thing. That's kind of the rundown there. So you want to be a VSL director. You want to be responsible for, I know it sounds like a big title, but it's fucking cool. It's a lot easier. You can do it, right?
Oh yeah.
Just swipe winning scripts for your product using your AI little copywriter bot, and then turn them into videos and upload them to Facebook. That's the fucking three-step formula, and then just repeat that.
That's good. And going back to like the very, I think the second question I asked you is like, what are those roadblocks that people always hit? Do you think it's a laziness thing? They'll hear what you say, they'll get very motivated, excited. They're like, I'm going to do it. And then they stop listening to the podcast, and then their mom calls them for dinner. And then next thing you know, they're broke in 6 months. Like, what stops so many people from doing this? Because I've done it myself. I do make money online. I know what it feels like. It's amazing. And I'm young and I get to travel the world. And other people that are successful also get to do that. But there's like a small percentage of us that are successful in this world. The rest are like, they listen and then they're like very
Right.
motivated and they don't do anything. So what do you think the main reason behind the don't doing anything part is?
Yeah. So there's three things you need. You need the skills, you need the mindset, and then you need the spiritual fucking things aligned, right? Because that's so there's three things. So if you study VSLs all day and you study how to do this all day, you will be able to get the skills and you just practice the game. You get good at anything by practicing. So if you're not uploading VSLs that you made and spending money on it, you're not practicing. That's the only thing you can do to practice. Laziness, like there's no lazy people. There's just people with lousy goals. Like they just have shitty goals. So they're not excited by it all. So they probably haven't thought about how dope their life would fucking be if they're making $50,000 every 2 weeks. And they probably haven't thought about how shitty their life would be if they decided to give up on that dream and never take any action on it and just be a lazy, mediocre fuck who gets repped when AI comes out and puts everybody in a universal basic income and you're like on the bad end of the Hunger Games stick, right? You don't really want to fucking be there, right? They didn't think about it at all. But if you think about it and study some Tony Robbins, you'll align your fucking subconscious mind a little bit better. So it'll be more aligned with, hey, you need to get the fuck off the couch and start turning the wheel every single day and being a highly productive person. You have to learn how to be a highly productive person, which is really easy, by the way. A highly productive person just figures out where am I going? 50 grand every 2 weeks. What's the most important thing I could do to take a step forward to that today? And they fucking do it. That's it. Every day. First thing in the morning. You do the most important thing first thing in the morning. If you have work at 6, then you wake up at fucking 4. If you have work at 4, you'll wake up at fucking 2. If you have work at 2, you'll wake up at fucking 12 in the morning. Doesn't fucking matter, right? You do the most important thing, first things first, 2 hours every day. You run that cycle. You can make progress before your brain even turns on, right? You can't even self-sabotage if your brain's not even on. So that's another one. Another one is your identity's fucked up. This happens all the time. Key symptoms, your identity's fucked up is people use words like, I feel like there's this block right here. I feel like I get really close. I just can't go any further. There's like a glass wall or the glass ceiling. That means that you've hit a limit of who you think you are. So this happens typically when somebody goes, they want to get rich. They're a broke person. They want to be rich. They're retarded. They want to be a genius, right? Two different types of people, right? So when I was about to be successful, I would hit these walls, right? Like I was in San Diego. I was supposed to close these deals. I couldn't close them. I felt like there was this weird wall. I failed. I got sent back to my parents' basement in the middle of the woods, and I read all these subconscious mind books. And I learned that if I had closed this deal, I would have been a successful entrepreneur. But internally, I didn't see myself as a successful entrepreneur. I saw myself as a newbie. I call myself a newbie all the time. I'm a beginner. I'm a whatever. Guess what? If you're a newbie, you're not successful. That's essentially it. So if you do something that makes you successful, you wouldn't be a newbie anymore. But if your subconscious mind thinks that you're a newbie, it's going to block you from being successful because you keep saying that you're a fucking newbie. That's what successful people do. That's not what newbies people do. Successful people close the deals and make shit happen and do that. Newbies don't. They drop the ball and they fail. So the core idea there is you have to kill the newbie and say, I'm a successful person stuck in a newbie's body. Stuff like that, right? The
Yeah.
core of me is a fucking gangster, but I'm stuck in this own little world. When you do that, you will release the block and start being able to close the specific deals you need to close or get in the places you need. And then there's a spiritual side too of it all.
Yeah, I want to get into the spiritual thing. You said before previously on videos and stuff, like you always saw yourself at a young age as a rich person, but you're just temporarily in a broke person's body, something to that effect, which I think is a limiting belief shift because a lot of people, I know friends who self-sabotage. I used to do it myself. It was like I was 17, 18, 19. Yeah, my first tech company was started with Grant Cardone. I did a 10x incubator thing with him. And it was like, I felt like I could be successful and I was excited to pour my heart into this thing. But I was like 17 years old and I'm like, but I can't do it because of my age. And then that's a glass wall I hit. And then it's like the whole entire thing obviously fell apart and didn't work out because of my limiting belief and my skill set deficiencies and everything.
Gotta learn.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the continual progress. If anyone listens to this podcast, I want you to go back to what Peter just said. Understand, like there is no state where you're currently stuck. You can change basically anything you want inside of where you are in life just by rewiring your brain. And go listen to some books that Peter talks about in his videos because it helped me. It helped him. On the spiritual side of things, I tell everyone in my life that everything that I've ever achieved, having you on this podcast, building this podcast, publishing 4 books, traveling the world, has all been to the glory of God. God brought all of it into my life. I used to be very scared of saying that publicly, but now I'm like, the cat's out of the bag. I know like God is responsible for all of it. But some people argue with that. They're like, well, I think everything's happens for a reason, but I don't know about God or whatever. And you talk about God in a lot of the things that you've done, and I think
Yeah.
we're aligned in that perspective. What would you say to somebody who wants to be successful but doesn't have that spirituality component aligned, or they don't believe God's real, or whatever their hesitation is?
Well, I never really wanted. Hold on, I just realized that Joe Dispenza is opening the doors for his week long advanced retreat right now, and my
I'm
girlfriend
gonna
just busted.
I gotta buy that ticket. My friend just texted me about that too, because he does meditate. Joe Dispenza meditation in Atlanta, Georgia. That is that live right now?
I actually think, Kate, is it live? Okay, I'm buying it right now.
Dude, this is insane. What's
Their
the
10-day event just went out, and you actually have to order it immediately.
yeah, I know
Uh,
they sell it so insanely fast. And
yeah.
I think
So
what where was the last one? It was Cabo.
yeah, I went to an advanced one. Sorry, I got my brain turned on. I
Yeah.
am curious.
So while Peter does this, I'll give you a quick little backstory. Joe Dispenza is one of the best people in the world of meditation. He wrote a book called Supernatural, Becoming Supernatural, aligning energy fields, helping people be
Okay,
able.
I'm in the queue. I'm back. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
in a queue of 110 people with what? Okay, I won't leave it. So there's 113 tickets remaining. It just went live an hour ago, and I am the 110th position in line.
That's insane.
That's retarded.
Yeah. Right as we're talking about spirituality, we talk about Joe Dispenza, which is pretty insane. But yeah, Joe.
Okay, so I'm back. So back to your God question, right? I didn't want to be into spirituality. I didn't care about spirituality. All I wanted to do was get rich on the internet. Unfortunately, the last thing I learned before my life took off was a book called Conversation with God. Because you could have all the skills in the world to do the job perfectly. You could have all of the mindsets. You could read the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind book and Psycho-Cybernetics and clear out your mind of all the stupid, lazy bullshit all the people who weren't successful in your life told you and fed you when you were 2 years old. That got programmed into your body and you've been fucking your whole life. And now that you released that, you're able to finally be free. But there's a third element that's not skills, that's not mindset. It is fucking luck. Random shit that would happen to me. I started a company one time, and the first client that I got overdosed on heroin and died. And I failed because of some random luck based thing that's not even me doing my own thing. So, my question was like, what is that? What was that random thing? Turns out that there is a spiritual element to all of this where you can create your own reality, which is fucking psycho. If you watch stuff like Law of Attraction, and I
I
didn't
don't.
want to be into God first off. I just read a bunch of books and saw all these smart people talking about God that I was like, maybe God's a thing. I don't know, like, but whatever. I'll get to it when I get to it. You were saying?
No, I was just saying Joe Dispenza. We're like literally talking about Joe Dispenza as we're talking about spirituality. I mean, he talks about the energy fields of life and becoming your future. I mean, it's pretty aligned.
So Joe Dispenza is probably I would say the best mystic on the planet right now in terms of teaching people how to do this. Um, let me give you the core nutshell of the whole thing, right? I'll just give you a nutshell of why this is important. And there's movies like The Secret and The Law of Attraction, and you hear about it all the time. And the idea is thoughts become things, the energy you put out and whatever, that's how it works. But this is the last lesson that I learned at my rock bottom moment in the book Conversations with God is that there is this creative force inside of all of us, including you and including me. And that force is able to bend the reality that I exist in based off of my thoughts and my feelings. And and I used to feel bad that I wasn't this like successful guy or whatever, that I was struggling on a rock bottom moment. And what the book was telling me to do was I had to believe and feel like I was already a rich and successful person, even though I wasn't. And that energy is what would begin to attract things. So what
Yeah.
happened to me was my life would fall apart on itself randomly. Things would just collapse. The sticks would just fall off the wheels by itself. And that was a really weird thing for me. I didn't really understand how that would kind of work. And then I got into this book, I started practicing it, and then things started falling together on their own. Things will just fall apart or fall together on their own. And that worked from manifesting and things like understanding God and following God. And I was pretty much addicted to that ever since because that was the last thing. So I have used that to recover myself from all sorts of crazy rock bottom moments. And yeah, Conversation with God was the book for it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I know you don't really know my story, but it is like I have the skills, I have all the action, everything is required to get to an outcome. But then there's like just random things that'll happen that will put me in situations like me meeting you or me meeting Grant Cardone's brother and going to his house and his birthday party and then meeting all these people. And it's like I randomly stumble into these things in life. I never even chose to necessarily be in them. And that's just how people interact with the world. And people are like, oh, it's just a coincidence. But it's like you can't have that many coincidences in your life happen. And if I mean, if you actually believe in manifestation, you do it, you quickly realize like you can control the energy and you can your thoughts do become things. And they won't manifest the way you think, but seeing your life play out, you're an exact case study of somebody who has used spirituality to their benefit and then built an amazing life and have massive impact globally. You've built insane brands, like, and you also believe in God, and you accredit a lot of the things you've done to God, which is why I wanted to talk about it because people will be like, "Yeah, I pray every weekend or I go to church on Sunday and I'm still poor," and it's like just because you say you want to be rich and you ask God for money doesn't mean you're going to be rich. It's like you also have to do the other things, which is like be really good at something and actually take action, right?
But the key word he said right there is he wants to be rich. So if you're creating your reality and you're saying words like "I want to be rich," then you're going to create a reality where you want to be rich. That's
Where
not a reality where you're rich. So actually, God is doing exactly what you asked for, was wanting to be rich. You've never said, "God, thank you for making me so fucking rich. Thank you for making me $50,000 every 2 weeks." You're waiting for that to happen before you say that happened. But you never said, "Oh, I'm so fucking rich." You always said, "I want to be rich. I don't have that. I wish I had that." So the energy you're putting out is want and lack and need. So you create more of that in your life and you see more Lambos that make you want it even more, right? But you never actually get it. Like I had to start saying, I am fucking rich. I don't care what my reality looks like. I'm balling out. And the proof that you really feel like that is the energy you're radiating. Because if you were balling out of control, you'd be so stoked about life. You'd step outside so grateful and happy to be alive. That's the proof, right? And that energy is what attracts back to you situations that make you feel like that some more. But
cool.
never say I want to be rich. Never say I need to be rich. That's even worse. Always say I am. I am becoming. I'm becoming rich. I'm fucking doing it. That's kind of the words you want to say.
Yeah, there's a book called Hung by the Tongue, just like talking about the
Oh,
importance of
banger.
language. And if you use words like I want or I need or like Joe Dispenza talks about like when you feel in lack, you the energy is different than if you remember the future and you already have what you want, even if you don't physically have it, you're just attracting that into your universe. Peter, we're running out of time. I want to do like some quick rapid fire and then we'll let you go.
Sure.
Okay, so first question, how much like total online money have you made if you were to add it all up in aggregate? What would you say?
I don't know. I don't know. It's definitely in the nine figures. I think if you added my students up and the success that they've had, it's definitely in the billions. I'm pretty sure. I got a lot of nine-figure students, and I think it adds me up to pretty close to there. In terms of like VSLs that were made based off of my studies, and I have a lot of VSLs that have been running for years and years and years. Um, I don't know. I think it could be over 300. I think it'd be over 300 based off the skincare brand that's been running for a very long time, and then based off of Mind Valley stuff, just from the VSLs that I personally created, not including the coaching students that I have.
$300 million. That's amazing. And what's the most you've ever made in a day? I know on your website it says you've had several $100,000, $200,000 days.
I've had like it's a quarter million is the most I've made in a day revenue without a launch, just off of a big campaign that's cranking right now. Um, that would be my high score day, right? But like six-figure days, hundreds and hundreds of six-figure days, right? Like just a year is a six-figure. Like just 40 million is basically 365 six-figure days, essentially, every single day. So we're six-figure days are way easier than to go, yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of them.
You've mentioned in the past that your goal in life was $66 million in a year because you could make $300,000 a month passively for the rest of your life. And that's where you can afford two private jet flights a month. Do you still stand by that law? Has that number changed? Do you feel like it's achievable? Have you achieved it?
I love that number, I love that number. And I still think it's fucking great. I think
Yeah.
it's great. I haven't achieved it yet. I take giant swings when I get the money. Like whenever I make millions of dollars, I use that as a tool to try to make tens of millions of dollars. I've never had tens of millions of dollars in my bank account before because every time I make millions of dollars, I take massive fucking degenerate swings to try to make tens or hundreds or whatever. And I've I've taken three massive swings in my career and none of those have worked out for like the massive, massive levels. And then like my skincare brand, I was definitely like I was 29, 30 when I was doing that. So I definitely didn't value it as much when I had it in terms of knowing what I had. That brand would be worth fuckloads of money right now. But and then we've been doing the AI thing, and now we have another thing going on. But it just it takes time. You know, you get there when you get there. I'm just like what I love about my story is that I'm no fucking genius that started this out. Like I just, just get wrecked so many times, but still come back and crack a winning campaign and everything works out. Like I don't care how bad your situation gets. You make one VSL, you're back up and running, right? That's how kind of how it works.
And then my final question for you, my friend, is do you have any regrets in your life or any big mistakes that you've made that you really wish you didn't make that set you back that you would have done differently?
Yeah, so outside of not getting to not doing a couple basic things sooner than rather than later. One of them is starting a mastermind group and being friends with five friends who all make $1,000 a day. You are the average of your five closest friends. Not getting that lesson actually practiced and not prioritizing putting groups together because I wouldn't prioritize it. I would prioritize working on my business, but nothing moves you forward in your business faster than having five friends. So not putting that up in front. Another big lesson was the greed lesson. I had a campaign that went explosive one time that me and my buddy were working on together, but his account got banned and mine didn't. So I just blew the fucking account up and got myself a McLaren. And then that killed a lot of the relationship that I had with this guy, and my ego got out of control. And I was like, I'm the best in the world or whatever. And then I left on my own and then realized later on that a lot of my success came from me and my buddy actually working together on the campaign. It didn't come from me being a genius or whatever. And I didn't recognize that. So that was a big lesson. So like teamwork really does make the dream work. You make way more money when you split what you have with somebody who helped you get it and helped do big leverage moves. And it's a very big egotistical lesson that I hope no one has to learn of like going on their own and deciding that they can just do it all on their own because there are a lot of details and iron sharpens iron. So having somebody in there helping you is really big. Um, and that's it. I think those are some of the key most important ones. Another one is like, not noticing what I had because I decided to become a master of a traffic source, right? Facebook ads.
Yeah.
And the key to mastering traffic is to master the video. So I became a master of the video, right?
Yeah.
Essentially. And it's really cool because that allows me to pivot different offers very fast. Unlike brand owners who get stuck in different brands and can't really pivot outside of a lot of things. So I was able to test a lot of different things and build my skill set in a lot cooler
Yeah.
ways. But that, like when I started my skincare brand, I didn't really value how much $40 million dollars in a year on a brand with world-class products was. But when I saw that brand, because I sold my share after a year, and then when I saw that brand continually doing eight figures year after year after year, a lot, then I just was like, fuck, that shit's worth crazy money right now. So that was a cool lesson learned for me over there. Is like just really learning to value what you have. And because I was more focused on the adventure and climbing, and like, oh, I'll just go climb another mountain kind of thing, so it's easy for me to get off of it. But
Yeah.
I think those are fairly important. And then also I would like everyone to know that my none of my massive crypto YOLO investments, when you think about the idea of I'm going to take all my money and throw it in some crazy investment and that's going to make me a bazillionaire, three for three, none have worked out. So I just want you to know what actually would work was the fucking shit you didn't want to do because it wasn't fast enough, but the fast enough stuff actually made you lose all your money. So you decide for yourself what's faster, losing all your money and starting over or going slow and steady, right?
How much have you lost in crypto? I didn't even know you even invested in meme coins
Oh,
or
I've been in since like 2016, just a long time. Just taking swings at just how to live the dopest life on the planet.
yeah, yeah. And then Peter, I appreciate you. Where can everyone find you?
You can find me at Peter Kell on Instagram or peterkell.com. That's the best place. And that's it. I got to bounce out of here and go close this Joe Dispenza trip.
Yeah, go do that.